All right, well, welcome out again. I did get my hose fixed this morning, so we are good to go. We're hauling manure again. Josh moved up into the area I was in yesterday, cleaning out on the pad, because his loader doesn't have very good tires. They're pretty much slick. This loader doesn't have that great of tires either. They're more like gravel pit tires. They're not super traction tires. But I moved back to a different area back in the back. So let me show you where I'm at. So I'm back here now. So we're back behind the dairy. So over here is where they've been hauling all the dry stuff up to mix in. I'm behind all these dry corrals. This is a big area that we kind of made. We had somebody come in and they scraped all the dirt off and made berms on both sides. So it's just a big holding area for all the slop when we can't get to it and get it out. So it is pretty well full. Granted, it's not very deep. I can see the ground in some spots over there. So it's not very deep, but it's super dry, at least at the beginning. So this has just been sitting all summer long. So hopefully this is pretty dry. We shouldn't be making a super big mess. I know back in the back is probably sloppier, but because the dirt is kind of sealed off now, so the water doesn't, it might evaporate, but it's not gonna soak into the ground and dry out. So I've got a lot here to haul. We're about done with all the big main areas up there in the front. We do have, there's the drain that's way over there by the lagoon, and there's a big drag line that we're gonna have come out, which is basically a giant excavator that will scoop up out where we can't get with the loaders. So we're gonna have them come out probably next week, and we'll have one of us working here and the other one will be working over there with the drag line, and we'll see what we can get hauled out. I imagine by next weekend we'll probably be about done. But I'm waiting for a truck and we're gonna get hauling here. All right, so we're going now. It's after lunch now. I'm gonna load this truck up. So they moved fields. So they are now at a field that is about 2 miles that way. So it's a little further away. The field they were in before was it was only just right across the highway from the dairy. So it was really close, which was really nice because we were able to haul a lot of manure really quickly because it was a short haul. So we weren't having to wait for trucks very much at all. And yeah, it went pretty fast. Now, so we're actually we're down 2 trucks now. We have the one truck. We started with 7 trucks, and we had the one truck that the engine blew up. And yeah, that was I'm surprised it still ran and drove. Man, it's like I'm a redneck or something. I'm surprised it still ran and drove, because the noises that thing was making and the smoke it was blowing was pretty terrible. So yeah, we were able to get it back to the shop, but it's done. We probably won't even fix it. That might just be, we might just scrap that truck, maybe use it for parts. But now Trevor's truck, he's in the International, and he was going fine, and he'll be going again here pretty soon. He had a bearing go out. So right now, so we have 6 trucks running, and right now 4 of them are going to Josh, and I was just getting Trevor and Craig here. Craig's in this the blue Western Star with the BTR bed on it. So I was getting Trevor and Craig, but now I'm just getting Craig because Trevor's broken. So, but he's been working on getting that bearing off. The bearings on these things, so they're the ones on the back in these that drive the beaters. That's the bearings that always go out, and they are they can be easy to change. We've had them where it literally takes like 20-30 minutes. It comes off super easy. They're pretty easy to change. But we've also had it the other way where it will literally take 2 to 3 hours to change a bearing because everything is seized on. So like the sprocket might be seized on. Actually, the one Trevor's changing, I'm pretty sure I saw that the sprocket was welded on. So every once in a while, if the keyway is bad in the shaft, or if the sprocket set screws aren't working, it's like sometimes we end up welding the sprockets onto the shaft. And I've tried to steer away from that the past like 5 years because it makes it a really big nightmare to try and change a bearing, because then you have to actually cut the weld off and take it off, and yeah, it's terrible. So we try not to do that anymore. All the old trucks have welded on sprockets, but all the new trucks like this one and most of the new times, every time we change a bearing, if we can't get the snap ring or something, the sprocket to stay on, we'll just weld some washers to the end of the shaft to just keep the sprocket from coming off. And that's a much better way to jimmy rig it, because yeah, we were just welding it directly to it, and it just makes it so hard every time you have to change anything. So, but I imagine he's probably about done. He was working on it, so unless he had to leave for some reason, he should be coming back out here. And with the solid manure, this whole area is solid. With the solid manure, oh, I gotta get close enough so that he can hear me when I honk my horn. I can actually get them really full. So with the sloppy stuff, I have to keep them down below, but with the solid stuff, I'm able to heap it up really big. And yeah, we can haul a lot of manure that way. Because this area, the ground is dirt versus concrete, which is what the other one is. And because the ground is dirt, the water kind of seeps into the ground a little bit, and it just helps dry it out. So that's one nice thing about this area, is this manure has been, it was sloppy when they brought it in here, but it's been sitting here, and I don't know when they brought this in. They may have brought this in and filled it up either early in the spring, or it could have been throughout the year, just hauling in slop. This may have been brought in last year. I don't know. I don't know how long this manure has been here, but you can see that it's pretty solid. So I can stack it up pretty high in the trucks and not be worried about it slopping out of the side of the truck. It doesn't look like there's another truck coming, because I'm pretty sure they're all going to Josh, but all the other areas are pretty well cleaned out, except for the last little spot where Josh is. He said he'd probably be done today. There's only about a day's worth left. And then this stuff back here is all what's left of what we can get with the loaders. So once he gets done with that area, we'll probably both be back here. We'll just have all the trucks coming back here. So I'm trying to push and stack this a little bit while I don't have a truck, because if I can get it all kind of broke up and mixed up a little bit, it makes it a lot easier when I go to try to take a scoop later on. When there's a truck here, I can load the trucks a little bit faster if I kind of stack and pile this. It just scoops up a lot easier. See, like that wasn't stacked very much, and it didn't scoop up a whole scoop. It wouldn't let me do it. But if I pile it all right here, it'll let me scoop a nice big scoop when the truck gets here. So I'm gonna make a nice pile here for when the truck gets back. I might also, because this stuff right here is only maybe a foot thick, it's not very thick. So let's just let's go into that, see what that looks like. I know it's not very deep. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, I just pushed 20, 30 feet into that, and it just was a little tiny pile. So, and that's another thing I'm trying to do, is even though this has dried out and seeped into the ground, where the ground is dark like that, it is super slippery. So these loaders don't have the best tires. These tires are, I mean, they do work, but they're more for like construction and gravel, and they don't do super great in the mud. So by pushing this back, by pushing the manure back a little bit, it helps the ground to dry up, a little, so that when I do get back here, because actually where I'm pushing up right now, I'm not going to be back here actually loading this manure for a while. It's going to take me a while just to get back here. So, but if I can push it back, it'll make it so the ground will dry up a little bit. So when I do come back here, I'll actually be able to get a little bit of traction. Like this is all nice and dry, it's dried up. But this spot right here, it's not. So I'm just gonna push it up. See, I can't push it too far because my tires start spinning. So I just push it till my tires spin, and then I back up, try and get another push out of it. But it's just thin enough that it still makes the ground slippery underneath, even though there's not a ton there. So by pushing this up and out of the way, and let me tell you, this manure that's been sitting here for a long time, it smells awesome. I mean, just think of like year-old crap just sitting there in the sun baking. Yeah, it smells terrible. And this actually has a lot of straw in it too, because they clean out some of their back krells and bring them back here sometimes. And yeah, so there's a lot of straw. Like this is a lot of straw in the manure. But it is pushing back pretty good. I can't, the one thing that I do risk is this is a dirt. The bottom is dirt, so I can't angle my bucket too much, or I will just dig a hole. Right now, it's fairly smooth back here. But if I start digging holes, I'm trying to get that last little bit off the back of my bucket. If I start digging holes, then we're gonna have a mess. So like over here, let me show you. It's like over here, there was somebody dug a hole a while back. So like trying to get the manure out of that spot is kind of difficult, just because, well, there's a hole. And when you don't have any traction and you get stuck in a hole, there's not a whole lot you can do. You just get stuck. But I'm thinking, so back here in the back, it looks really sloppy, because usually, so this slopes back. So as you go to the back, it actually slopes more and more. So the water, if there is water, it kind of runs to the back. And back there, it looks a lot more sloppy. And usually we can't haul that because it's too sloppy that we just can't get traction to actually scoop it up with the loader. So I don't know if we'll be able to haul this whole pad, but over the next week, we're gonna give it a good try and see what we can get out of here. This right here is just mostly straw with a little bit of manure mixed in. But since I'm waiting for trucks, I'm gonna try and just push this back and reveal as much dirt as I can to try and start to dry the dirt out. But it is nice that it's nice and solid. It's good solid manure, and it still is good fertilizer. Even though it's been sitting here for a while, it's still great fertilizer. Now, this is like, you wouldn't want to use this. Actually, you probably could use this on like your garden. It's like this manure has been sitting here for long enough that it's not as hot. But the fresh stuff that's like up where Josh is at and where we have been working on the concrete pads, that if you put it on your garden, it would just kill everything in it because it's so hot. But this stuff's been sitting here for a while. It's still good fertilizer, but it's not quite as hot. And the reason that the hot stuff doesn't kill our crops is because we spread it so thin, and then we work it up into like when we go through with the chisel plow, we're working it up and we're mixing this fertilizer into about a foot of soil. So you might not have very much. It's mixed pretty thin, but it's super hot. So yeah, when the roots of the plants get down to it, it's just thin enough that they do really well, and They grow really good plants with it, so. Trying to get, right here is where the berm's at, so I don't want to dig into that because that is the berm. So I've kind of pushed it back. And I mean, you can kind of tell, like, the ground is so slippery that I can't push it much more than about 10 feet. Like if I hit that, my tires just spin. So I can't push it too far. I would like to reveal a lot more dirt, so the dirt can start to dry out, but I cannot physically do it. But I'm just gonna keep kind of pushing up a little bit here and there, and then when I get a truck, I'll get them loaded up and sent back out to the field. We have a couple more fields that we'd like to cover, and I think we have enough manure that we can get it all covered. So I'll bring you back here in a little bit when the truck gets back. Craig's getting a little close. Craig is back. I'm gonna get him loaded up. Josh actually sent me another truck. So now he's getting 3 and I'm getting 2, and then when Trevor gets his truck done, we'll each be getting 3 trucks. Which is nice, because now I can get more of this hauled out. Because once his area is done, well, actually, I take that back. He got his loader fixed. So he was in the Volvo, and the Titan machinery mechanic came out to work on our 721 that blew the wheel seal. And, well, he didn't get it 100% fixed because he wasn't able to get it all the way apart. There was some bolts, I guess, that were too rusty and wouldn't come off. He was gonna have to cut them off. So basically, he was able to get the wheel seal back in. He like got a chisel and punch. He punched it back in. So it's in. Whether it's gonna hold for very long or not is unknown at this time. So Josh is now actually running our other case loader. So this is a 621 and he's running a 721. So his is a little bit bigger, a little bit faster than this one. But yeah, so he's not in the Volvo anymore. I just remembered that. So when he gets his area cleaned out today, I'm sure he'll get it done today. But when he gets his area cleaned out, then we'll both be back here. But one thing is, so over there where I pushed up is pretty solid, but right here is actually, I mean, it's not sloppy, it's just sloppier. So it's about the consistency of what Josh is hauling out right now. So it's not horrible, but it definitely could be worse. It could be like liquid and just running out all over the place. But after today, we will have been hauling for about a week, and we've got a lot done. We've accomplished a lot more than I had thought we were going to get done in a week, because we've been able to run most of our trucks. I mean, the fact that 6 of our trucks are still going, and we started with 7, is kind of a big deal, because most of them usually break down, and we don't usually get to run with all of the trucks. I mean, there's been years where we'll start with 8 trucks and we'll end with like 2 or 3 running total. And that's actually how we figured out it was faster to have somebody load our trucks versus us getting out and loading our own. Is that year where we had a bunch of trucks. I think we had 5 of our trucks broke down. So we had 3, I think we might have had 4 trucks for most of the last little bit. But we had 3 or 4 trucks, and I think I put one more scoop in there. But we basically decided that we had enough help that we were just gonna put somebody in the loader to try and speed it up a little bit. And that's when we decided that having 4 trucks running with one person in the loader loading them was just as fast as running 8 trucks with everybody loading their own trucks. we were hauling just as many loads with half as many trucks. And that was the year we were like, oh yeah, we have to do this differently. We have to just load the trucks for them because it's way faster. So he's done, and my next truck should be here before too long. I'm not sure, about 5 minutes I'm guessing, and we'll keep loading. All right, I'm just loading up my last truck of the day. It's almost, I guess it's the last truck of the week. It's almost the weekend. So it's Halloween next week, so we got a whole bunch of Halloween parties and stuff to go to. But so far, it's been a pretty good week of hauling manure. We've got a lot hauled. We've actually managed to keep all the trucks except for, well, the one that blew up, and the Trevor never came back out after his bearing issue, so I'm not sure if he wasn't able to get it fixed or what the problem was. So I am not entirely sure. It's like, this won't be my last truck. There's a truck that just pulled in right here, so I'll load this truck and then one more. But yeah, it's been a good day. We're ready to be done. Like, we did spud harvest, and that was go to get all the potatoes out of the ground and in storage, and then we jumped right into hay harvest, and that was go to try and get it done before we had some rain that came and kept all the hay from being dry enough to put in the bag. And so that took us about a week because we had more hay than we've done all year. And now it's go to try and get the manure out before the ground freezes, because we need to disc up all the manure, or I guess chisel plow the manure is what we're going to do this year. So it's just been go pretty much since we started wheat harvest. So if you've been watching since wheat harvest, and we started wheat harvest in about, let's see, it was like middle of August. So pretty much since the middle of August till now, it's just been non-stop go, try to get everything done before winter comes. And we're still trying to get everything done. It just never ends. So once we get the manure done, then all of the hard, long trying to get everything done and rushing, that all ends. We will still have a whole bunch of field work to do. We have, I don't know how much more disking Christopher has to do. He was just gonna disc the fields we're gonna haul manure on in the spring, but we'll have a little bit more disking to do, I imagine, unless he gets it done next week. But what we have a lot to do of is we have a lot of chisel plowing to do, because we have to chisel plow all the acres that were in wheat this year. So we had almost 1,700 acres of wheat this year, and we have to chisel plow all that. Along with, we have to chisel plow a bunch of the fields that are going to be going into potatoes next year. So we have some hay fields that we're renting that were in hay this year, and they're going to be going into potatoes next year, and we have to chisel plow all those. So yeah, we have a lot to do. We've got, my dad's been working, but one thing that just happened today, our big 9510 RT that we actually just had a motor put in, a new motor. I can't remember, I think it was a rebuild. They rebuilt the motor, but we just had that put in. And if anybody wants to know how expensive a motor rebuild is, well, it's about $127,000. So yeah, we just had that done, and this morning he went out there and the oil was clear full of diesel. So it has a problem. They are going to take it back in and tear it apart and see why there's diesel in all the oil. The oil was actually overflowing with diesel. So there's a problem there. So they actually just brought out for a loaner, because ours is getting worked on, and luckily it's all covered, but they brought out it's a little bit smaller. It's a 9460 RT, and that's what we have on our chisel plow now. So she is done. But yeah, we have that 9470 or 9460, I think is what it is, on the chisel plow. But yeah, I'm all done here, so I'm gonna start heading back to the shop. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I probably won't be in the loader anymore, because next week we'll have our drivers and stuff will all be switched back around. So Trevor will be back in the loader, Josh will be in the other loader, and honestly, if they both get moved out here to this hole where I was just digging out of, they'll probably have that done in a couple days. But then we're getting that big drag line brought out next week, I think, and we're gonna try and clean the drain out. So that'll be interesting. We'll see if we can get that done. Usually the drag line takes a couple days. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you are enjoying the videos, make sure you go down below, hit that subscribe button, because it really helps us out. And I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.